So a number of friends and coworkers had asked me to kind of explain a little bit about my recent condo purchase. Now, I've owned condos before here in Thailand, and it wasn't really my plan to buy a condo during this COVID period, but it just kind of fell into place that way. So let me kind of explain to you what happened. Now, before we get started, just to let you know, uh, I've bought and sold a condo first in Yom Tien. Then I moved to Pratamnak, where our office used to be. And then my last condo that I sold was in Cozy Beach back in 2018. Now, I wrote everything out, so I'll try to read it off to you, but I'll try to make it sound as simple as possible. But I wrote it out just because I wanted to make sure that I had written down all the information correctly. And so I've been condoless in Thailand since 2018 when I sold my Cozy Beach condo. And I have been casually looking for a new place to store my stuff, basically have a home base. The reason for that is I usually stay in Thailand for about 2 to 3 months at a time and maybe 2 to 3 visits per year. When you spend that many days or months in a given place, it kind of is tough to live in a timeshare or hotel that often. And then I get kind of tired of living in timeshares and even business suites and business hotels. And so I've been kind of, wanting to look for a place after I sold my Cozy Beach place. So when I purchased my Cozy Beach condo back in 2012, I bought it from a Scandinavian gentleman. And the reason I bought it at that time was, unfortunately, he was fortunate for me, but unfortunate for him. He was caught with a Thai girl on the side, and his Scandinavian wife at the time immediately divorced him and forced an immediate sale. Now, I heard about this fire sale from a friend of a friend, and his friend, my friend's friend, was a real estate agent. He says, "Hey, there is a condo for sale, and they have to sell immediately." And I asked him just casually over a few drinks, what's the price of the condo? Is it a really good deal? And he says, it's 50% off. And I thought, whoa, really? And then I went ahead and I even further asked for a discount of an extra 500,000 bucks from the 50% off listing price. And the ex-wife basically forced the ex-husband to accept it immediately that moment. We were on a four-way call, and she told him to accept it now, or things will get even worse for him. And so I got the condo at 50% off minus an additional 500,000 bought off. Now, when I was going to list my Cozy Beach condo for sale back in 2018, or back in actually it was 2017, but it didn't sell in until 2018, my next door neighbor was also selling a similar unit. But his was on the market for about 2 years without a buyer. And so what I decided to do was I listed my unit a little bit lower than his listing, and my unit was a little bit nicer than his anyways because I had done some remodel work within that. And lucky for me, I was able to find a buyer within 6 months, and I still made a profit on the sale. And the reason I made the profit on the sale was I bought it, on the front end for such a good price. And then the last time I was in Thailand was October through December of 2019 before COVID hit. And at that time, I knew I was, kind of starting the process of looking for a unit to buy. I took a look at a few rental units. I looked um, at a couple of spots there where they were basically listing as a special promotion price. And I wasn't all that excited, but I decided to kind of gauge exactly where I wanted to live, what building, what location, maybe even stay in some of the buildings through, Airbnb or through timeshare, through a rental agreement. And so I spent those 3 months basically living in places like City Garden, the Base, View to Lay 6, which is next door to the Central Mall. And I stayed in a few units that were 50 square meters and realized that the space was too small for me. So I looked at a few units that were larger, and I also looked at units that had two units side by side. So if they were 50 square meters, but there was two units side by side, I thought, okay, I can combine the two and make it 100 square meter living space. Through that whole process, over that 3 month period, I wasn't able to find exactly what I was looking for. I couldn't get two units side by side that I really liked. And so I went ahead and headed back home to the States without a condo purchase. And then we fast forward to COVID. The COVID hit, and I wasn't really looking to buy a condo while I was out of the country, but I received regular emails through Thai real estate companies listing properties for sale. And I casually glanced at those, but didn't put much thought into buying something while I was out of Thailand. And then I came across an email with properties for sale in the South Pattaya area, the Chonburi area, and right behind TechCom. And I saw some units for sale at Sensabai Condo Building. Some of them were overpriced. I don't know what it is about this place, but people are delusional sometimes, and they will try to sell their units for above asking price. Makes me wonder why they even list the units for sale because they just never sell. Then I saw some units that were listed for the average comps in the building and the area and the location and given the time. Then I saw a few units for sale that were well under the comps in the building and geared my research toward those units because those are the type of people I know are really looking to sell their unit. Now, what I did was by kind of searching through that email and looking at listings online, I was able to come up with about 9 real estate companies that had units for sale in that South Pattaya area, along with the Sensabai condo building. And I contacted those 9 real estate companies and sent them messages and emails. And unfortunately, 7 out of the 9 companies either didn't message me back or messaged me that they got my information, that they'll reply back to me, and then they never did. So basically, 7 out of those 9 companies never followed through with me, which is kind of makes me scratch my head like, this is COVID. I've been told over and over again that it's a buyer's market. Real estate agents are having a hard time selling units, but 7 out of the 9 companies I reached out to didn't have the decency to reply back to me or follow through with the information that they promised me, which was just makes me scratch my head. But as we all say here in Thailand, it's Thailand. Now there were 2 companies that did reply back to me, and I started engaging in them. And they provided me a list of possible units that I would be interested in. And after looking at a few units, few buildings, I did find 2 condos side by side at the Yen Sabai condo building behind TechCom. They were both 40 square meters. Combining them together would be making the 80 square meters. So I took a virtual tour of the unit itself, and I liked it enough that I offered a ridiculously low price for both the units. And although it was already priced below the per square meter price, the comps at this given time, I went ahead and offered even a lower price than that. And the seller countered with another offer that was still pretty good. And it was still pretty good. So I went ahead and decided to explore the potential a bit more. Now I put a new topic on the forum. I went on the on our forum site here in Thailand, and I asked some of the local people, "Hey, can you recommend somebody who could do a demo or remodel job, who can go in, do some blueprints?" And I had some questions about moving some support beams to combine the 2 units. And someone got me in touch with somebody here in Thailand that is a foreigner that's semi-retired but started a company, and he does basically remodel work. And so I had him go into the Sensabai condo. He looked at both the units, looked at all the support beams, what can be moved, what can't be moved. Can the center wall be completely 100% taken down? He provided me blueprints of the combined units and a workaround on some of the possible issues. At the same time, I was looking at the Sensabai condos. A number of local friends, local coworkers, local forum members had suggested that I look at Center Condo, which is next door to the Wat Chai Temple, across the street from the open wet market, close to the TechCom electronics store, and about 4 grocery stores, all within walking distance in my area. And since I do go to the stores in that area quite often, my dentist is close by. I meet friends and colleagues at the coffee shops in that area. I thought, okay, this area is the perfect area to possibly buy a unit at Center Condo. So I asked the two real estate agents who were messaging with me to provide me a list of units for this Center Condo building. I took a look at the 50 square meter units, which I kind of realized right away that it was too small for me. I'm used to living in something between 110 to 225 square meters, and the 50 square meters isn't for me. Majority of the units in this building, of course, are 50 square meters because single individuals who don't care about how big or small the place is. And then they have a few 80 square meter units and a few 130 square meter units. So I began to kind of focus more on the 80 and 130 square meter units. Okay. Now, when I began taking a look at those units, I came across three possible options. I didn't like the back side of the building because it didn't receive very much sunlight. And I like to grow plants and hydroponic vegetables. I like a little bit of an ocean view if possible. Plus, you're going to get more sunlight by having a partial to full ocean view side. And so I took a look at three possible units. One was an 80 square meter unit with partial sunlight, which means a partial ocean view. There was a 130 square meter unit with partial sunlight, which included, partial ocean views. And then there was a 50 square meter ocean view with full sunlight, of course. Now, excuse me. I had the agent who provided me with the 50 square meter unit for sale. I asked him, hey, can you go down there, talk to the person to the left of this unit and the person to the right of this unit, find out if they're open to possibly maybe selling their unit. So that way I can buy two units at the same time, combine them to make a single 100 unit condominium building. He went and did that, but he basically came back and said, no, those two people who are living in there right now have absolutely no interest of selling. So it was kind of a done situation. So that was off the table. I wasn't going to buy a 50 square meter ocean view, no matter how great the view was. It's just too small for me. So I was down to either the 80 or 130 square meter unit. I wasn't all that excited about the list price for the 130 square meter unit. Um, it was originally listed, I believe, almost 2 years ago at 5.99 million baht, and then it got dropped down to like 5.5 or 5.25, and then got dropped down to 4.99, and it got dropped down to 4.8, and then I saw this last listing for 4.4, which is okay. I mean, it's below average pricing. There was two other units, 430 square meters, that were listed, I believe, at the 5 million range. And so this was, 600,000 cheaper, but I still thought, hey, given the market conditions of COVID, I can get better units elsewhere for the same price. So I kind of looked at the 80 square meter unit, which was a pretty good value. And I had an opportunity to kind of stay overnight at an 80 square meter um, hotel room, or timeshare basically, over the weekend one time. And so I went ahead and did that to see if 80 square meter condo would work for me. So after staying over the weekend in an 80 square meter rental, I came to the conclusion that 80 square meters wasn't going to work for me. If it was a hotel room that I was using for the weekend, something to store my place, and I wasn't really going to stay there too much, I can make 80 square meters work. But I came to the realization if I'm going to be in a place for 2, 3 months at a time, maybe be in a situation like I was a few years back where I was working and living full time in Thailand, then I needed something a little bit bigger. So I took another virtual tour of the 130 square meter unit and decided, you know what, this is the size I want. There was no direct 100% full view, ocean view, 130 square meter unit. I knew it would be way more expensive. There wasn't even one on the market. And over the last couple of years, kind of looking in this building casually, 130 square meter units don't really come up that often. And the couple that did come up were on the backside with no sun view at all. This guy had dropped his price of 3 or 4 times already, And I thought, you know what? He obviously wants to sell. I'm going to go ahead and give him even a lower ball offer. So I went ahead and gave even a lower offer than the 4.4 million baht that was listed. And after about a week, his real estate agent got back to me and said, "Hey, he'll take your offer." So we agreed on that price, and then he said that the furniture is included in the price, and I told him, "Hey, I don't want any of your furniture, none of that furniture in there." Although he said it was expensive furniture, I told him I had no intentions of keeping that furniture. What I planned on doing was demoing out the whole place using an open floor plan and basically gutting the whole place out and restarting over again. And so I let him know that I didn't want the furniture. Um, and then in the meantime, I sent over the deposit. I sent all the paperwork to the selling agent, signed the contract, did all the things that I needed to do. And then a week goes by, I don't hear anything back from the seller or the selling agent. I've been really mostly talking with the selling agent. And I get a call in the middle of the night and he tells me that the seller has reneged on selling the unit for the agreed upon price. I guess what happened was during the week, prior week, when I had told him I didn't want the furniture and he can keep it, he had listed the furniture for sale on the condo website and sent emails to his fellow tenants. He's currently out of the country, back home in Belgium. Excuse me. Now, during that process, a current tenant had stated he had always wanted a corner unit, and he said, "Hey, I'm interested in buying this unit from him." And so he had said, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and give you the price that you had asked for before, which I assume was going to be the 4.4 million baht, which was still a pretty good price, but I wasn't willing to pay it for the based on the COVID period of price period. The comps in this time period and in the area are much lower because of COVID at this current time. And so the selling agent contacted me and said, "Hey, he said he will still sell it to you because had offered in the first place, but you've got to go to the higher stated price now, which is the 4.4 million baht," which I declined. And to make things worse, the selling agent told me that basically he was notified too that because the seller had found the buyer within his own building, they were going to go bypass the agent and basically do the paperwork themselves, and so there would be no agency or agent commission. Not only did the seller go back on his word, but now he's excluded the agent who showed me this unit 3 times, spent a lot of time and effort on the sale, and basically had this unit listed for quite some time, showed it a number of times to other people. I thought it was kind of messed up personally myself. So some time goes by, and I'm kind of annoyed by what happened that I decided not to even bother looking anymore to purchase a condo at this time. I thought, hey, I'm not in Thailand. I'm back in the States. This is what happened. I'm just not going to even bother with this situation. I was kind of annoyed of how this has transpired. So some time goes by, and then I guess the seller has reached back out to the agent. The agent calls me and tells me the person who wanted to buy the unit in the building can't come up with the money. And so he's willing to sell me the condo at the original price that we had negotiated, but he wants to still tack on 250,000 baht for the furniture. And I told him, I don't want your furniture. And, I received this call again in the middle of the night, which is daytime over there. And the agent and I kind of had become, very friendly, and we got along better. And I believe we got along better than the agent who was actually selling on behalf of the seller. But he says, in the big scheme of things, is the 250,000 baht that a deal breaker? And I told him, no, it really isn't. In the big scheme of things, $7,900 for that furniture that I don't want is not that big of a deal. I probably can go turn around and get a little, some fraction of that money back, by selling the furniture. And I did really like the unit. It's a corner unit, amazing city views and ocean views, great sunlight coming across the building, ability to do a full open floor plan, 130 square meters, which was pretty large size, and being able to have all those windows, two balconies, having an open floor plan in the location I wanted for really a really good price. I mean, I've seen the comps in this area, and I've looked at this building for the last 2 years. I didn't quite think that I could buy anything at the price range that I got it for, um, you know, back 2 years ago. And the only reason I'm able to get it for the price now is because of this COVID situation. So what I did was I agreed to buy it. In the morning, I went ahead and signed the new paperwork. Also, I requested the seller sign something so he doesn't back out again, which I didn't really have to bother with because the selling agent had drafted some paperwork forcing the seller to basically make sure that he doesn't back out of the deal. And so went ahead and sent my paperwork in, and then a week goes by and I don't hear back from the selling agent, and he calls me and says, "Hey, the seller hasn't done the paperwork yet because supposedly he doesn't have his own printer, so he has to drive like 5 hours away where his son lives over the weekend when he's home for the weekend to use the printer and sign." And so finally, after another week goes by, he's able to get that paperwork, and we're good to go on that. And so I went ahead and through this process, because of all the things that happened before, I went ahead and contacted Magna Carta Law Firm, and I spoke with Tony, and hired him to do all the paperwork, deal with the title, the deed, the blue book, make sure that the seller is actually 100% owner of the property, that's in foreign quota name, make sure that there isn't a lien or anything against the building. So he was hired to do it, all that paperwork, and everything was done perfectly fine. I also went ahead and called the demo guy up and had him come back into the building now that I was on track to buy this property. He did another blueprint, which you can see in the photos here that are sliding through the slideshow. That that plan there basically is the blueprint of the current building right now. And what we're basically doing is a two-bedroom, two-bath. But what we basically are going to do is take out the second bedroom, take out the main bathroom, everything from the right-hand side. We're going to go ahead and take away to just have an open floor plan as it goes wraps around the corner of the building. I'm going to keep that open. That'll be living space. That'll be my coffee area. That'll be my kitchen area. Open floor plan. The bedroom and the bathroom. I'm only going to have a single bedroom and a single bathroom, and that'll be on the left side against the wall. And then as you leave the bedroom, leave the bathroom, everything else as it wraps around to the corner of the building, wraps around through the balcony, that'll be all living space. And so basically have an open floor plan. And so I had the demo guy come through. He did all the blueprints. There's a couple beams and other things that we need to work around. But for the most intents and purposes, this will be a nice, open, airy unit. It's on the 14th floor, has a lot of windows. I'll have a lot of screens, a lot of windows to get some breeze through there. Of course, I'll put in some AC units, but for the most part, we'll be able to get some good flow of air coming through there and great views. And so as you can see, this is the blueprint of the current layout of the unit. Everything you see on the right hand side master bedroom and the full bath, that's going to be eliminated. It'll be the open floor plan. On the left will be a enlarged full bath and the master bedroom. And so I'll have most of that as living space. So Tony over at Magna Carta completed all the work, took care of everything, started the demo work and the remodel actually day before yesterday, and currently the owner of the property now, and so I'm just doing the demo work. And so what I'll do is, since some of you friends and coworkers have asked for basically kind of a little bit of feedback or information about why, and how I went through the process of buying a condo during this challenging times. And then also, when you heard that I was going to demo out the place and remodel it, you wanted a little bit of feedback and up to date information on that. So I'll add a second and third video here as time goes on as we progress through this remodel work. And so hopefully this has been informative. And if anybody else is watching this and has questions, just let me know and I'll answer them for you. Thanks and have a great day now. Bye bye.